Shalom. Kal halalim la Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,001 third. May peace and blessings be upon you and your households and the spirit of endurance. As we're approaching the end, you can feel this sort of pushback, like a tug of war. Google tug of war and look at the image. You know what I'm talking about. Where you're trying to pull towards righteousness and demons F with you to try and say, to try and make you feel lazy and not to pray and not to do this and that and the third. But obviously, once you get your prayers done, you feel better. But then nevertheless, endurance is definitely required, man, especially as we're approaching the end. And those birth pains are kicking in with regards to His Majesty's return, Yahweh Shai's return. Prior to his return, those birth pains are kicking in. And there's a lot going on. All right. But what I'm going to touch on is moral compass. All right. Let's go there first. What's the meaning of that? Moral compass. Meaning.
Moral compass.
Moral compass. Used in reference to a person's ability to judge what is right and wrong and act accordingly. Now, we got British cigarettes think that they are doing the right thing by loving anything and everybody, even their cats and dogs, and marrying their cats and dogs and the same gender, and because they smile and they think they're being so-called nice, they think that's their moral compass because they got no judgment. All right. A lot of these modern day religions, even modern day Christianity, that may hold the scriptures in their hand, the Bible in their hand, our book, these heathens hold it in their hand, but they don't utilize it in the correct format, in the correct way. Okay, they just basically is a Satanism disguised with the fa la 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 and all that, right? Okay, you got blatant Satanism. They say they're Satanists, and you got Satanism disguised in Islam, in modern day Christianity, Hinduism. Okay, that's not moral compass. All right, drinking cow urine is not moral. Okay, it's not hygienic. It's disgusting. Okay, there's a difference between humans. Well, with the Israelites are the real humans. Okay, we have a moral compass. The ones that are the elect. Okay, the elect that are in these human bodies, these chains of darkness. Okay, we've always had a somewhat of a moral compass. Okay, but obviously that's been amplified by Yahweh Shem Shai, by the Lord giving us His name. Okay, because pursuant to the book of let me just get it out. I don't want to quote it wrong because sometimes I get muddled up between Ecclesiasticus and Ecclesiastes. Yeah, and the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai has given us His name. Pursuant to the book of Ecclesiasticus 17 and 10, and the elect shall praise His holy name. Okay, going back to the book of Acts 4 and 12. Okay, there's only a name under heaven that we must be saved. Okay, the Rakah Kodash and having the name, is blessed, is given to the elect that are chosen. Okay, and they start building their moral compass. They stop doing the things that they used to do in the world, and they start switching up. Okay, so that's what a moral compass is. And the Israelites have a moral compass collectively. All right, we have the laws, statutes, and commandments, how to behave, how to look at one another, how to look at females that are close kin to you. Even in the world, we didn't look at our female cousins in a nasty way. Even if they were not even directly related to you, they were like grew up around you. You saw them as like a sister, And in the culture that I grew up in from northern India, right? Jake's from there, right? We called our sister, our cousins, female cousins, cousin sisters. That's the term that we always used. And crackers in this country say, "How can your cousin be your sister?" They didn't understand that term because Edomites are just filthy like that. They'll deal with their cousins, all right? But in the Eastern culture, we say cousin sisters, and obviously the Israelites from the East, right? Okay, we know what to we know what to eat, what not to eat. We know how to cook our food. Okay, we know not to deal with the same gender because that's disgusting. All right, we know not to deal with our woman on her rag. Okay, we know you know all the. I mean, there's 613 laws. Okay, and I believe there's about 613 to 614 laws. Okay, and all of them are encompassed or within the Ten Commandments. But obviously, within those commandments, there's a lot to it. Okay, and so the Israelites have the moral compass, and on this side, the elect have a moral compass. The two thirds are brute beasts. Okay, the two parts that are going to die. All right, that still want to dive into Egyptology and being a Hamite and Kemet and Islam and being a Buddhist and being a Hindu, or they marry a Japanese woman and want to be a Buddhist or whatever, right? Or marry an East Indian woman and they want to follow her way because they feel they didn't grow up in a culture being raised in America or the UK or the West Indies or West Africa, right? Jakes are going off. Now, nothing wrong with dealing with a heathen woman. You just don't follow her methods. As long as she's single, fine, clean, right, unattached, you can deal with her. Okay, that's the male and female dynamic, which is the 1-2, the bedroom action. That's what it's about, right? But you do not follow her ways, whatever she practices. Okay, because she's ultimately still a heathen, right? Okay. So the elect have a moral compass. All right. And the two thirds are brute beasts. Okay. The only thing the two thirds have, the one up on the heathen, is that they're Israelites. And on the other side, they're going to come through the loins of the elect men because two parts of our people are going to die on this side. Okay. In America. Okay. And the other unelect members around the world that are going to die on this side, that they will be born through the loins of the 144,000 elect men in the kingdom to come, which will be on this planet Earth and beyond. Okay. Let's go to Zechariah 13 and 8. Let's go there. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bahashim Yahshai, two parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. Two parts meaning 66.6%. There's our 666 again, which alludes to wickedness and evil. Okay? Right? And then you got the 1/3, which is 33%. They'll make it through. So a lot of Israelites are going to die on this side. And obviously the majority, there's more women on this planet Earth than men. And women, for the most part, yeah, they have more of a wicked nature. Satan is like, Batman and the Israelite woman, no matter what package she comes in, no matter how she looks on the outside, is like Robin, all right? Okay, and so a lot of these, Israelites are going to die on this side. A lot of them are women, men too. But I'm just saying that obviously there's more women on the planet Earth. Hence the reason why Jake is allowed to have multiple wives. I mean that's all obviously, not simply because there's more women on the planet Earth. We are allowed to have multiple wives. We're allowed to have multiple wives. Okay, some Jakes have 2 or 3. Some Jakes have 1. All right, in the kingdom we're going to have thousands because the Lord's going to bless us where, loads of females are going to be born for the elect men. Okay. And let's go to verse 9. And I will bring the third part through the fire. Okay. The 1/3 are being purified. They're going through the refining process. Okay. To be purified, to be ready for that marriage for when Yahushua returns. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name. There's the name part again. The elect call upon the name, the holy name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai is my power. Ain't no you Most High Christ blessed. Ain't no Ahia Asher Ahia. It's not Christ the Black Messiah. That's not the name. You can say what are you going to say to the Lord in the morning when you pray? You know, Tawada Christ, the Black Messiah. What are you gonna say that at the end of your prayer? You know, is he Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai? You really got to believe in that name. That name has to give you comfort. You can't just say it because I'm being told to say it, so I have to say it. No, you got to believe in that name. That name should strike a rapport with you. You know, it should like give you goose pimples. It should make you feel good. It should make you feel elevated, like you're about to like lift off the ground. That's how you should feel. All right. And if you don't feel that way as an Israelite, you know, maybe you need to fast and pray more, man. You know, I mean that's also part of being on the edge as well. Before the Lord returns, you don't know whether you're going to make it. But you know what the barakim is, right? At least, at least you're an Israelite, man. At least you're an Israelite. That's the only blessing that the unelect have. That they're Israelites. Okay, that on the other side they're going to come back and you know they're going to be living at large, as they say, because they're royalty, nonetheless. All right, the two parts will be cut off. So the elect have a moral compass. We know how to move. We know how to maneuver. We know how to cook our food. We know how to dress. We know how to cover our backsides. You think the elect members are going to be sagging their pants, showing their backside? You know? You think the elect are going to show their dirty drawers? All right. You think the elect are going to be wearing skinny jeans? You know? You can wear fitted jeans, nothing wrong with that, but you're not going to wear skinny jeans like damn near yoga pants like women wear. You're going to wear that? You think the men are going to wear yoga pants? You know? You think the elect men are going to have nail polish on? You think the elect men are going to have dreadlocks? Unless they come into the truth, right now, and they cut them dreads off. Okay? You think the elect men are going to be smoking spliffs? No. And if they did, they've given that up, like myself. You know, being frank, I used to smoke back in the day. Even when I was in the world, I knew cigarettes, it didn't feel right to me, inhaling all that smoke. You know? And this is going back 30 years ago, of course. All right? I gave you up, a few years ago. It's all BS. This world is hell, man. But anyway, the elect have a moral compass, man. Okay? Okay? And the ones that Yahweh Hashem Yashai has chosen to give that moral compass to and that blessing to, okay, are the friends of Yahweh Shai. Let's go to John 15 and 16. Is this John, right? The book of John, yeah, chapter 15, verse 15 and 16. John 15, verse 15 and 16. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. Okay? Each elect member, okay, every elect member doesn't have the same amount of knowledge. One body, right? The way you have a body, paraphrasing that scripture, the one body scripture, all right? Like the whole, every limb is not a right arm. Okay, the right arm has a purpose, the left arm has a purpose, your finger, your toe, your nail, your eyes, your forehead, your head, your legs, everything has a purpose. Okay? So Yahweh Hashem Yashai has given enough knowledge to each elect member, obviously, because I'm not going to be knowledgeable like our apostles and elders. Okay? They've been blessed, Barak Yahweh Hashem Yashai, with all that extra knowledge. All that beautiful knowledge, right? But the rest of the elect members, as our apostles and elders have said, they've got enough knowledge, and especially the name first and foremost, and the Rakak Kodash, and then the knowledge to make it through the straight gate. All right, and everything else we'll find out in intricate form and in detailed form in the kingdom, especially when those new bodies are given. Right. So henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant. Salakia. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father, that's the Most High Yahweh, I have made known unto you. Verse 16, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, Yahweh Bahashem Yahshai, he may give it to you. All right, we ask the Most High Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bahashem Yahshai. That's why Yahweh Shai said, whatever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, okay, he may give it to you. All right. So the Lord has chosen you, okay, and because a lot of people the Lord has spewed out, okay, because the Lord utilizes them for maybe a couple of years, and they teach, and they're really amazing with the scriptures, very knowledgeable. They call upon the name, but they were just used for a short duration to bring in other elect members, and the Lord just said, "Okay, I'm done with him now. Get rid of him." And we've seen some crazy bug outs. A lot of our apostles and elders and prophets have made videos on them, and it's scary, man. You see them how they looked before; they had a glow on their face. They were well groomed. The hair, they had a nice haircut, nice trim beard. You know, looking like saints. Now they man them and that now they're looking like down near Bob Marley with dreadlocks and shit. Or they're looking like Jake's. Nothing wrong with wearing fitted hats and all that kind of stuff, or what the world would call you know nothing wrong with wearing fitted hats and dressing so-called street, as long as you dress like a man and covered up. But when you, as our apostles and elders say, when you're teaching in the front line, like our prophet, elders and prophets, you take the fitted hat off, because you can't cover your head when you're teaching. So the Lord has said, go and bring forth fruit. Okay, so whatever knowledge you have, whatever your skill is, how much Yahweh Shemeshah has given you, pass it on. Each one teach one, right? I think that's the saying. All right, so you pass it on. So we all try and do whatever we can with the knowledge that we have. All right, like myself, I didn't grow up with the scriptures, man. I didn't pick up a Bible. I've got one Bible, and I bought that off Amazon. And I never grew up with a Bible. All right, I grew up in a completely different way. Okay, but the Bible makes sense to me, man. And I got the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. So the Lord is merciful, man. So the elect have a moral compass. Okay. All right, 1 second. Okay. The heathens don't have a moral compass. Okay. You've seen that, they eat anything. They don't cook anything properly. There's blood coming out of it. Okay. They're okay with making their sons into daughters and their daughters into sons. They're okay with having their son that's HOMO, right? They're all right with that because they think that it's okay that's all right. That's what they like to do, as long as they don't hurt me, or as long as they're not deleting anyone, as long as they're not doing drugs. That's the lifestyle they choose to lead. That's okay. Leviticus 20:13. Okay, you're supposed to delete them, but obviously we can't do that in this world. And if you have a son or a family member like that, you stay far away from them. All right. Okay. And the Lord hates a heathen, pursuant to 2 Ezra 6 verse 54. So we Israelites, especially the elect, we got a moral compass. We know what to do. We know also not what to do. Okay, we know when to take a right. We know when to take a left. Okay, the 2/3 of the heathens don't know. They do pretty much anything. Okay, which is what's that saying that Aleister Crowley says? Do where is it? Yeah, do what thou wilt. That's the whole law or something. Yeah. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, is the central tenet of Thelema, a philosophy and religion founded by Aleister Crowley, which is basically Satanism. Okay, so basically, do what you want to do. That's it. So basically, you can be a mole. You can drink blood. You can deal with little children. You know, you could eat feces, drink urine. You know, this is what they do, and we hear all these stories and these truths coming out about these so-called famous people, what they have to do on this side to keep what they have and to have what they have. And they start off okay on a high, but you see them a year later, all that glow has gone off their face, and they're always constantly higher. I mean, look at example Jim Jones. He's never sober, man. Even though he's just like a rapper and all that, they all have to do these things. All right, okay. So this world is evil, but the elect, as mentioned again, have a moral compass. All right. Um, Ephesians 1 and 4 and 1 and 5. According as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. Okay, verse 5. Having predestinated us unto the adoption of the children by Yahushua Hamashiach to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. All right. The elect have been predestinated, man. They've been chosen from the foundation of the world. They're the first fruits. Okay. So the Lord, if you went off in your life or previous lifetimes, whatever, you had to go off. The Lord made you go off. Why? So you can learn good from evil. Okay. So you can be a good judge in the world to come. If you don't know about evil, how can you discern what's good and evil? Right? Even though we got our moral compass, but as they say, there's a written exam and there's a practical exam. We got to do both. All right. And this is like the practical, you know. Some Jakes, dealt with married women. Some Jakes used to smoke weed. Some Jakes used to smoke cocaine. Some Jakes used to be dealers. Some Jakes used to be gangsters. Some Jakes used to be, you know, uh, grifters. And they all come out of that, right? They've come out of that to be future judges of the earth. All right, under the spirit power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All right. Just trying to see what else. Okay, because second Ezra 6 verse 54, the Lord hates the heathen nations. Okay, now so we can learn right from wrong. Okay, and you know, it's part of our story as as the underdog. Okay, the Lord Yahweh Shai, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahshai is very fair even to the heathen. He even gave these heathens a time to rule, to feel lauded, to feel like they're somebody when they're nothing, to feel that they were the most high, they were Yahweh Shai, they were the apostles and prophets in the scriptures, they were the knights of the round table, they were King David, they were Robin Hood, who else? Uh, uh, Famous gunslingers of the West. I forgot what's that Jake's name, man? The Lone Ranger, which was Bass Reeves, based on Bass Reeves, an Israelite. Okay, all right. Derogatory terms that they gave us, calling us cowboys when that term became cool. All right. We had to learn good from evil. All right. It's that part of our come up story for the elect. Right. And the Lord is fair, where he even gave the heathen a chance to rule. But also, it was like, as they say, killing two birds with one stone. The Lord gave them a chance to rule. All right, coming out of them caves and how these heathens live. And it's not just a so-called YT man; it's other heathen nations too. Okay, the Lord gave them a chance to rule, and also to be a whooping stick on us, so we know okay, this is why the Lord punished us, because we went off, not to do that again. All right, so we can be good judges. But also on the flip side, we're going to put hell on these devils in the kingdom, man. And even prior to that, okay, the Lord looks at the heathen nations as spit, okay, as a drop that falls from a vessel. He doesn't deem them as nothing. They are nobody people, all right? And that should make you feel good about yourself as an Israelite, man, especially if you're in the truth and you're a hopeful elect member. We have a moral compass, man, all right? And the laws are for us. Let's go to what Apostle Paul said in Romans. Um, let's read pretty much most of it. Romans 9, verse 1. I say the truth. I say the truth in Hamashiach. I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. So there's no spiritual Israelites, okay? According to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, all right? The elect coming back, all right? And the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yashai, and the promises, the blessings, the rulership, okay? It's only for the Israelites. We have the moral compass, okay? If you want to say it, we're the real humans. The hopeful elect, especially the elect, they're the real humans. They got a moral compass. Everybody else are brute beasts, and I hate to say it, even the 2/3, okay, because they're behaving that way. All right, doing mukbangs, eating lobster and crab, and man, I've even seen videos on YouTube of Jake's. I don't know whether it was like a year or two ago. Only the Lord knows whether it's real or not. It probably is, because Jake does some foul shit, man. It was these young Jakes, and they would order these frozen mice or something that people order for their snakes or cobras that they have as pets at home. And these dumbass, ninjas were, man, they were, I'm feeling sick just saying it, man. All right. They were just eating them raw, man. Mice and shit. It was disgusting, man. And then there was a video of Eve, I don't even want to call her Eve, a so-called black woman eating a dog. Oh, my days. They're brute beasts. They gotta go. Like those gangster movies, you see the Italian Jake saying, he's gotta go. They gotta go. All right. Who are the Israelites to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yashai and the promises. Verse 5. Whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Hamashiach came, who is over all, the Most High, blessed forever. Amen. Okay. So we have the moral compass, man. All right. We know what to do and what not to do. Okay. We know to wash our backsides, sometimes once, sometimes twice daily, meaning showering once or twice a day. We have that in us. We're naturally a clean people. Well, most of us anyway. Some of our people following Esau's dirty ways, okay, and the heathen's dirty ways. All right. So we have a moral compass. I'm just trying to see if I can read anything else. Let me just go to, I think that's about it. It's 29 minutes now. So, all right. So you hopeful elect members, man. All right. Be thankful. Barakte Yahweh Bahashem Yashai. The Lord has blessed you so you understand this truth. Okay. And that's a barakim, man. The angels are working on your mind. Okay. Yahweh Bahashem Yashai is working on your mind to make you understand this, giving you the Rakah Kodash and his name, man. That's that holy name to call upon him in trouble. Okay. And you have a moral compass of what to do and what not to do. Everybody else are brute beasts, and there's going to be a horrible, horrible, horrible outcome for the 2/3 and the unelect Jakes around the world that Yahweh Shemashah has not covered with his wings. And the heathens, they're effed, period. So they just got to enjoy the last few seconds of their rulership, and get jiggy with it, because it ain't gonna be no comfort for them, no crutches for them in the kingdom, man. Ain't gonna be no drugs. Ain't gonna be no exotic women that you can deal with because you are a director or a CEO of a company and you've employed a new secretary that happens to be a real beautiful Latina or an East Indian girl or a Japhetic woman or a Chinese girl or a Moabite, Ammonite woman, Arab woman or whatever, right? You're not going to have those chances. You're going to be sticking with your own, okay? And you're not going to have the comfort of a woman in the kingdom. You're going to have a comfort of, you're going to have a woman because you're going to have children. We're going to need slaves, but you're going to have like, shit, man. Roseanne Barr is going to be Roseanne Barr. A woman that looks like that is going to be a dime piece to you, okay? So you better enjoy it, while you got your Moabite wife or your East Indian concubine or your ninja woman, no matter what package she comes in, or a Sicilian or Italian woman because you like, you know, women that look a certain exotic way. You better enjoy it now, because in the kingdom, you're going to have nada. All right. All right. And we're approaching July the 4th, the 250th year. And most kingdoms do not go beyond that point. Most heathen rulerships, that is. So we are coming to the climax, man, the end of this hell, Abaratazar, very soon. All right, I'm going to leave it there now. Kal halalim la Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash, Mawathabad Babal, Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.